Good morning, spiritual companions. We are reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, Chapter 7, Pandit Shasadhar, Saturday, February 2nd, 1884. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Sri Ramakrishna had been conversing with Rakal, Mahimacharan, Hazra, and other devotees when M entered the room and saluted him. He brought with him splint, pad, and lint to bandage the master's injured arm. Some days before, while going toward the pine grove, Sri Ramakrishna had fallen near the railing and dislocated a bone in his left arm. He had been in an ecstatic mood at the time, and no one had been with him. Master to Mahima: "Well, if I am the machine and God is the operator, then why should this have happened to me?" Weeping like a child, he said to the Divine Mother, "O Brahmamani, O Mother, why hast thou done this to me? My arm is badly hurt." To the devotees, "Will I be all right again?" They consoled him as one would a child and said, "Surely you will be quite well again." Master to Rakal: "You aren't to blame for it, though you are living here to look after me, for even if you had accompanied me, you certainly wouldn't have gone up to the railing." The master again went into a spiritual mood and said, "Om, Om, Om. Mother, what is this that I am saying? Don't make me unconscious, Mother, with the knowledge of Brahman. Don't give me Brahmanyana. I am but thy child. I am easily worried and frightened. I want a mother. A million salutations to the knowledge of Brahman. Give it to those who seek it. O Anandamayi, O blissful mother." Uttering loudly the word Anandamayi, he burst into tears and said, "Mother, this is the grief that surely grieves my heart, that even with thee for mother, and though I am wide awake, there should be a robbery in my house." Again he said to the Divine Mother, "What wrong have I done, Mother? Why do I ever do anything? It is thou, Mother, who doest everything. I am the machine, and thou art its operator." The master was again talking and laughing, like a child who, though ailing, sometimes forgets his illness and laughs and plays about. Master to the devotee: "It will avail you nothing unless you realize Satchidananda. There is nothing like discrimination and renunciation. The worldly man's devotion to God is momentary, like a drop of water in a red-hot frying pan. Perchance he looks at a flower and exclaims, 'Ah, what a wonderful creation of God!' One must be restless for God. God will certainly listen to your prayers if you feel restless for him. Since he has begotten us, surely we can claim our inheritance from him. He is our own father, our own mother. We can force our demand on him. We can say to him, 'Reveal thyself to me, or I shall cut my throat with a knife.'" Sri Ramakrishna was teaching the devotees how to call on the Divine Mother. Master: "I used to pray to her in this way: 'O Mother, O blissful one, reveal thyself to me. Thou must.' Again I would say to her, 'O Lord of the lowly, O Lord of the universe, surely I am not outside thy universe. I am bereft of knowledge. I am without discipline. I have no devotion. I know nothing. Thou must be gracious and reveal thyself to me.'" Thus the Master taught the devotees how to pray. They were deeply touched. Tears filled Mahamacharan's eyes. Several devotees arrived from Shibpur. Since they had come from a great distance, the Master could not disappoint them. He told them some of the essentials of spiritual life. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Dr. Madhusudan arrived. He was ready to bandage the master's arm. A bed was spread on the floor, and the master, laughing, lay down upon it. After his arm was bandaged, he said, "I haven't very much faith in your Calcutta physicians." When Sambhu became delirious, Dr. Sarvadikari said, "Oh, it is nothing. It is just grogginess from the medicine." And a little while after, Sambhu breathed his last. It was evening, and the worship in the temples was over. A few minutes later, Adhar arrived from Calcutta to see the master. Mahimacharan, Rakal, and M were in the room. "Adhar, how are you?" Master, affectionately, "Look here, how my arm hurts." Smiling, "You don't have to ask how I am." Adhar sat on the floor with the devotees. The master said to him, "Please stroke here gently." Adhar sat on the end of the couch and gently stroked Sri Ramakrishna's feet. The master conversed with Mahimacharan. "Master, it will be very good if you can practice unselfish love for God. A man who has such love says, 'Lord, I do not seek salvation, fame, wealth, or cure of disease. None of these things do I seek. I want only Thee.' Many are the people who come to a rich man with various desires. But if someone comes to him simply out of love, not wanting any favor, then the rich man feels attracted to him." Mahimacharan sat silent. The master turned to him. "Master, now let me tell you something that will agree with your mood. According to Vedanta, one has to know the real nature of one's own self. But such knowledge is impossible without the renunciation of ego. The ego is like a stick that seems to divide the water in two. It makes you feel that you are one and I am another. When the ego disappears in samadhi, one realizes Brahman as one's own inner consciousness. One cannot obtain the knowledge of Brahman unless one is extremely cautious about women. Therefore, it is very difficult for those who live in the world to get such knowledge. However clever you may be, you will stain your body if you live in a sooty room. The company of a young woman evokes lust, even in a lustless man. A sannyasi must renounce both woman and gold, as he must not look at even the portrait of a woman. So he also must not touch gold, that is to say, money. It is bad for him even to keep money near him, for it brings in its train calculation, worry, insolence, anger, and such evils. There is the instance of the sun. It shines brightly. Suddenly a cloud appears and hides it. Why all these strict rules for a sannyasi? It is for the welfare of mankind as well as for his own good. A sannyasi may himself lead an unattached life and may have controlled his passion, but he must altogether renounce woman and gold to set an example to the world. A man will have the courage to practice renunciation if he sees 100% renunciation in a sannyasi. Then only will he try to give up woman and gold. If a sannyasi does not set this example, then who will? It was about 8 o'clock in the evening. Sri Ramakrishna asked Mahimacharan to recite a few hymns from the scriptures. Mahima read the first verse of the Uttara Gita, describing the nature of the Supreme Brahman. He, Brahman, is one, partless, stainless, and beyond the Akasha. without beginning or end, unknowable by mind or intelligence. Finally, he came to the 7th verse of the 3rd chapter, which reads, "The twice-born," footnote, a man belonging to the Brahmin, Kshatriya or Vyasa caste, who has his second or spiritual birth at the time of his spiritual initiation. The twice-born worship the deity in fire. The Munis contemplate him in the heart. Men of limited wisdom see him in the image, and the yogis who have attained same-sightedness behold him everywhere. No sooner had the master heard the words, "the yogis who have attained same-sightedness," than he stood up and went into samadhi, his arm supported by the splint and bandage. Speechless, the devotees looked at this yogi who had himself attained the state of same-sightedness. After a long time, the master regained consciousness of the outer world and took his seat. Mahima read from the Yati Panchaka, "I am she, the Divine Mother, in whom the illusion of the universe of animate and inanimate things is seen, as in magic, and in whom the universe shines, being the play of her mind. I am she, the embodiment of consciousness, who is the self of the universe, the only existence, knowledge, and bliss." When the master heard the line, "I am she, the embodiment of consciousness," he said with a smile, "Whatever is in the microcosm is also in the macrocosm." Mahima recited the description of Om. "It is like the unceasing flow of oil, like the long peal of a bell." About the characteristics of samadhi, he read, "The man established in samadhi sees the upper region filled with Atman, the nether region filled with Atman, the middle region filled with Atman. He sees all filled with Atman." Adhar and Mahima saluted the master and departed. End of that day, end of today's reading.